Hasbro today announces their 2022 Marvel Legends Haslab campaign and sets the internet on fire. You action figure enthusiasts out there, JC, and welcome to another TNInews video. This is the Friday edition, and for today's video, we are going to be focusing on the big news of the day, which is Hasbro's announcement of their 2022 Marvel Legend Haslab campaign. So they did a live stream video this morning. The campaign went up live about that time on the Hasbro Pulse website. It is currently, you can currently go over and back it if you want. So in today's video, I'm going to go over the details of the actual campaign, what's included. I'm also going to share some of my own thoughts about the campaign. And I will tell you that, when it comes to sharing my thoughts, I'm not here to try and convince you that you should back this campaign or not back this campaign. I can tell you, I can already see it now. There's probably people working on their Hasbro rant videos about this one. And then there's probably others that are going to tell you that, you should back it. It's not my place to tell you whether you should back it. I will tell you what I plan to do, but it's not really my place to tell you whether you should back it or not. And frankly, if you need someone to tell you whether you should back it or not, my feeling is you probably shouldn't back it. That should be your answer right there. But again, we're going to go over the details of it and talk about what are likely going to be the stretch goals, even though they did not officially. They only gave us hints to the stretch goals, so we're going to talk about that. First thing off, what is it? Well, as most of us suspected, based on the clues that they had given out at San Diego Comic-Con and such, it is Robbie Reyes. It's a 6-inch Marvel Legends Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider and his car. So a 6-inch scale car for Ghost Rider. The car does feature a number of things like including lights, light up flames and things like that, as you would probably expect with something like a Haslab. So we'll get into those details. But the bare knuckles of it is they need a minimum of 9,000 backers between now and October 31st, which is Halloween. And if it gets the 9,000 backers, then it will be funded. If it doesn't, then the campaign will not be funded. Now, there is an early bird offering. They started doing the early bird thing with the G.I. Joe Haslab His Tank, which was their last Haslab campaign. So with this one, if they reach the minimum goal of 9,000 backers by September 23rd, then they will throw in an extra figure, a human version, human form Robbie Reyes figure. So automatically included is the Ghost Rider version of Robbie Reyes, which will have 2 head sculpts. He will have 2 flamed head sculpts, one where the flame is sticking more up, and then one where it's kind of more blowing backwards, so it'll fit. And that's the one that you would use if you're going to have him sit inside the car. So 2 different head sculpts. You get his chain accessory, things like that, which are made with metal. They said his chain would be metal, so that's nice. But if the campaign gets to its minimum goal early by September 23rd, then they will throw in an extra figure, an extra 6-inch figure, essentially, same buck, but without the Ghost Rider parts to it, essentially the human form. So that's only included if the campaign gets to 9,000 backers by September 23rd. Now, I just want to clarify on that because I remember there was confusion when they started doing the early bird thing with the G.I. Joe one. If the campaign reaches the 9,000 by September 23rd and the human form Robbie Reyes figure is included, then it doesn't matter when you back the campaign. If you don't back the campaign until the last day, which again would be October 31st, if as long as the campaign got to that 9,000 backers by September 23rd, you will get the human form Robbie Reyes. So it's not like you have to back the campaign before September 23rd in order to get the human form Robbie Reyes. Now, if enough people don't back it, to get to 9,000 by September 23rd, then nobody will get the human form Robbie Reyes. But just to clarify, it's not that you have to back it by September 23rd specifically in order to get it. It's just that there needs to be enough backers to get to 9,000 by September 23rd. And then if it's included, regardless of when you back the campaign, you will get that figure. Okay, now getting back to the basics of what's included with this. So you get the car, you get the Ghost Rider figure, you get the extra head sculpt, you get the chained accessory that has the metal chain. Now you also get three additional tools that you see Robbie Reyes use in the comics. Those are not said to be metal. They look like they have vac metal on them, maybe. I'm not sure, but the only thing that was said to have metal was the chain itself. So I'm assuming the the ends of the chain, the chain accessory are plastic, as well as the other tool accessories that are included. You get for the car, you get a number of flame effect pieces. So you get a total of seven flame effect pieces, or I'm sorry, nine flame effect pieces. And then you get both regular tires for the car, and then you get translucent orange tires that are made to look like, they're on fire. So you can either have it essentially the car is just a normal looking muscle car, or you can have it all decked out in the flames and everything and turn on the lights and stuff, the LED lights, so it looks like, it's actually on fire. Inside, you've got some nice detailing, and you also have a little LED light on the back headrest of the seat. So when you have the figure sitting inside, it looks like, the flames of the head are lighting up, which is cool. You've got the engine block. You've got, again, they've done a pretty good job with the detailing on the car itself, and, the hood opens. You've got some detailing on the underside. The doors open, the wheels work. I believe they said, you can turn the wheels, but, and the steering wheel turns, but they're not connected. So if you turn the steering wheel, the wheels don't actually turn with the steering wheel. But the wheels themselves, you can have them turn, the front wheels at least, and then also the steering wheel, I believe you can also turn. You've got, detailing on the inside with the gas pedal and the brakes and all that. So they seem to have done a pretty good job with that. So so again, just to reiterate, right off the bat, if you decide to back this now, you're going to get the car, the figure, the two head sculpts, the four different accessories for the figure. You're going to get the flame effect pieces and the alternate tires that go along with the car. So that's what's included right off the bat. Again, that's going to cost you $350. That is the cost of this particular Haslab campaign. Now, as I said, if they get to their minimum 9,000 backers needed by September 23rd, you will then get the human form Robbie Reyes, so you'll get two 6-inch figures if it reaches that goal. Now, as I'm filming this, the campaign's been live for maybe just a little bit over 2 hours, and right now it's sitting at 2,013 backers. So if it holds this pace, I would say it will definitely get to 9,000 backers by September 23rd. We'll see if there's a significant drop off at any point, but right now, based on the current pace of backers it seems to be getting, it is looking pretty good for reaching that minimum goal by September 23rd. Now we get into stretch goals. So they said that there would be stretch goals included. However, they did not give us, like, they didn't say, it'll need to get to this many backers in order to unlock the first stretch goal. They really didn't give us a whole, they were pretty light on the stretch goal details with this one. Now, they did mention in the video that they did, the live stream video they did this morning, they gave us some clues. So based on the clues, they said that all the stretch goals would be 6-inch action figures, 6-inch Marvel Legend action figures, or 6-inch scale Marvel Legend action figures. So no additional parts for the car or anything like that. They didn't specifically say how many stretch goals would be included with this one. They used the word few, which to me generally indicates 2 stretch goals, but I won't say definitively that there's only going to be 2. But again, when you use the word a few, that's usually what comes to my mind is 2 stretch goals. So we'll have to see if that is in fact how many they end up doing. They said that, again, they did confirm that all stretch goals would be additional Marvel Legend action figures. So we know there are action figures that will be stretch goals. They said that they indicated that they would be of a demonic nature, and they indicated that these would be figures that they wouldn't be able to release otherwise at regular retail. So to me, they were almost all but saying that at least one of the stretch goals is going to be Mephisto, and probably if there's a second one would be Blackheart. That's my feeling. It's possible. I mean, you could come up with some other demonic characters that they could include, But right off the bat, my feeling, Mephisto 100%. I think they know everybody wants Mephisto. So I feel like Mephisto is almost a definite. Whether like the second one's Blackheart or some other character, I'm not sure. But Blackheart to me would seem like the likely second candidate. Now, if there's more than two, who knows? But I feel like if there's only two, definitely Mephisto and good bet probably the second one is Blackheart. Now, of course, we've gotten Toy Biz did a Blackheart figure back in the day. Diamond Select Toys has done a Mephisto figure before for the Marvel Select line, which, if you can get your hands on, is actually a pretty solid figure and works pretty well with Marvel Legends. I've had that figure since it was originally released back in the Toy Biz days, and it is still the Mephisto figure, my go-to Mephisto figure that I use with my Marvel Legends. So, and the Blackheart figure from Toy Biz was actually a pretty solid figure as well. So if you have that one or you can get your hands on that one, I mean, that's a pretty good solid figure. But but that's my feeling is probably Mephisto most definitely, and likelihood second one would be Blackheart. Now I know that's upsetting people because there's people who, so first of all, already right off the bat, if you go to like a Marvel Legend Facebook group or message board or whatever, you're seeing a lot of people irate over the price of $350. And I will tell you, from my own personal feeling. So first of all, and we talked about this if you watched my live stream last night, we talked about this in the live stream. But for me, I'm not a huge Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider fan. It's not the Ghost Rider I'm that familiar with. I'm more familiar with Robbie Reyes from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV series than the comics, because by the time he entered the comics, I think they said 2014 is when he made his debut in the comics. I'd quit reading most Marvel comics. So I've read a few titles with him in, mostly some Avengers titles where he joined the Avengers team for a little bit. So I read some of those, but that's really my biggest exposure to Robbie Reyes. So I'm just personally not a big Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider fan. My go-to Ghost Rider is Danny Boy from the 90s. Danny Keach is the Ghost Rider I grew up on. That was, I got that Ghost Rider title when it came out in the 90s. That's the one I started collecting and reading. And then, they brought Johnny Blaze back in that. So I'm pretty familiar with Johnny Blaze, but Johnny Blaze isn't even though he was considered like the original Ghost Rider, and we're not talking about the guy on the horse, the Phantom Rider, which I believe is how that one is known today. But Johnny Blaze is considered the, pretty much the original Ghost Rider, and then Danny Keach was the second Ghost Rider, and that's my go-to Ghost Rider. I think he had the coolest bike, and I just, those were the comics I read back in the day that featured Ghost Rider. So I was really hoping that this campaign was going to include, Danny and his bike. I felt pretty confident that we were definitely getting Robbie Reyes in his car, but I was hoping maybe we were also going to get, a second Ghost Rider and bike to go along with it. But we didn't. That doesn't mean at some point we won't get, Danny released with this bike down the road. But for right now, we don't. We've gotten Johnny Blaze and his bike, though. I have that one, and the bike is annoying because the flames will fall off on the bike if you look at it wrong. So I'm not. I mean, it looks good on the shelf. Don't get me wrong, but it's definitely, if you touch it or move it or anything, those flames. If you have it, you probably know what I'm talking about. But like the flames on the back wheels and stuff, those things just fall off really, really easy. So I wouldn't have mind seeing like an updated Johnny Blaze and bike, even though we're getting the updated Johnny Blaze on the retro card back. So I really felt like we weren't going to get Johnny Blaze in this Haslab campaign, since they're doing the one on the retro card back. But as it is, the campaign just has, Robbie Reyes in his car. And so for me personally, not being a huge Robbie Reyes fan, right now, I am likely not going to back this campaign. I'm not sitting here saying, oh my God, Hasbro is ripping us off. I'm saying that $350 for a character I'm just not that invested in is more than I want to pay. As I mentioned in the live stream last night, if it was $250, I'd probably be more inclined to maybe get it. But I just, if I was a huge Robbie Reyes fan, I'd probably be all over this Haslab campaign. And if there are going to be those of you who are going to tell you that this is a ripoff, that Hasbro is charging way too much. But I would put to you that if you look at like the Haslab His Tank campaign, that was $300, and that was for a property that Hasbro owns, meaning there's no licensing fees or anything that get included with something like a Marvel item. So, um, I don't think it's unfair to suggest that 350 if you look at the overall picture, because obviously if we're just talking about the bike and the one figure, 350 is a stretch. But if you look at it from the standpoint that this very well could end up having the car with LED light up features, and then probably at the minimum a total of 4 different Marvel Legend figures, could even be more, but probably at least 4 different Marvel Legend figures. And if the 2 stretch goals are Mephisto and Blackheart, those are going to likely be taller, more deluxe sized figures. So if you factor in based on today's prices, 4 figures, 2 of which would be deluxe size, um, I don't think it's a stretch to say that $350 based on today's market prices is unreasonable. Now, again, for me, I'm not saying, I'm not interested in backing it, not because the price by itself, it's because I'm just not that invested in the Robbie Reyes character. Now, if the stretch goals end up being Mephisto and Blackheart, I believe Hasbro when they say that those something like this Haslab campaign is the only way that they'd be able to release something like a Mephisto figure. And the reason why I say that is it's not like technically they couldn't, but you got to understand, what I think is Hasbro's corporate mentality these days. I mean, this is the same company that won't even do a hooded Cobra Commander figure. So you've got the corporate heads who run the company, I don't think would allow them to do a figure that would essentially be deemed as Marvel's version of the devil, um, released at regular retail. So, Hasbro is a publicly traded company. They are still in large part a company that is viewed to making products for kids. So we can sit here and say, well, this is for adult collectors until we're blue in the face, but the general public is, if it's something that was released at general retail, is going to look at it as something that is being sold to their kids. So all it would take is like one major headline, and even if it's just a clickbait headline saying something like Hasbro makes a figure of the devil for your children, or something stupid like that, that's going to get a lot of attention. um, you know that's all it would take to send shareholders into a tizzy, and the folks in Hasbro's corporate to get really upset. So I believe them when they say that likely Mephisto is not a figure that they will do at regular retail, because you're gonna have people tell you, oh yeah, Hasbro's going to dangle this Mephisto figure in front of you to get you to back this campaign, which they are. They're definitely going to dangle it and try and convince hope that pushes you over the edge if you're not backing it otherwise. But I don't think they're lying to us when they say that they would not be able to get this figure released under the current corporate mentality of how the upper ups at Hasbro, when they say they would not be able to get a Mephisto figure released at regular retail in some way. So if you want Mephisto, then this is probably your best chance of getting, assuming that is the stretch goal, which we don't know 100%. But I don't think they're lying when they say that they would not be able to release Mephisto at regular retail. Now, again, you're going to have people that are going to insist that they could or that they should, and I certainly might argue that they should, but will they is the big question. And again, this is the same company that won't even do hooded Cobra Commander that they created themselves back in the 80s. They seem like will no longer do that version of the figure because of how it might be perceived by the general public. So I just don't see them doing a figure that is essentially the devil of the Marvel Universe at general retail. Now, if all you want is, meaning you have absolutely no interest whatsoever in Robbie Reyes and his car, and all you would say all you wanted was just Mephisto, I would not advocate that you back this campaign, essentially spending $350 for one 6-inch figure, regardless of how much you want. I'd go to I'd wait and see if you can get it off the secondary market. People are going to sell the Mephisto figure, and they're going to sell it for a pretty penny. You're still going to pay a lot if you have to buy Mephisto off the secondary market. but hopefully you'll be able to get it cheaper than $350. So I would not advocate that you back this campaign if all you really want is just the Mephisto. But if you're kind of on the fence and you're like, well, you know, this is a pretty cool car. I'm not a super big Ghost Rider, Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider fan, but you know, this looks pretty good, and it would still probably look good with my other figures. And you know, if they give me Mephisto and Blackheart, then you know, I think it's probably worth getting, which is kind of where I am. You know, if I back this, you know, I'm going to wait and see what the stretch goals are. And you'll have people tell you, oh, you don't need to wait for the stretch goals. You can back it now. They're not going to charge you for this until it's you know, until it's fully funded and the campaign ends. And so you can just cancel if you want. So just go on and back it now and don't worry about it. And I that train of thought, to me, throw that out the window. Right now, based on just what we know, this campaign for me personally is not worth backing, and I don't plan on backing it unless I see something that interests me more, like Mephisto and Blackheart, and then I will reevaluate and decide whether I want to back it or not. But it's going to have to get, you know, we're going to have to see what those stretch goals are, and then it's going to have to actually get to a point where those stretch goals are unlocked, and then I will consider backing it. But you know, I'm not going to back something unknown, even if I can cancel it, you know, whatever. I'm not going to do that. So I don't advocate that you back it, and then if you decide you don't like it, you know, cancel it later or whatever. But I feel like this will get backed. Again, we're already over 2,000 backers, and it's only been up for a couple hours. I don't think it's going to be as a successful campaign as the Galactus and the Sentinel, but I feel like it will get to the 9,000 backers. I feel like it will quite possibly get to the 9,000 backers by September 23rd. And then I think, you know, again, we don't even know what levels we'll need to get to, because they haven't even, like, you know, will it be, you know, 9,000 is minimum. I would assume probably we'll have to get to 10,000 or maybe even 11,000 to unlock the first stretch goal, but we don't know that for sure, so we don't have those details. But I feel pretty confident this will get backed. But I definitely, you know, I said this last night in the live stream, this is probably going to be their toughest Haslab campaign to sell. This is, you know, this is going to be one that is not nearly as popular, I think, as Galactus and the Sentinel. So. But that's my thoughts on it. You know, and that's where I stand. Again, I don't plan on backing this until I see what all the stretch goals are, and then I'll make that determination. Definitely, if it's Mephisto and Blackheart, I will be, you know, I won't say 100% definitely I will back it, but I will be much more inclined to back it if that's the case. But share your own thoughts down below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We'll be back on Monday with a regular news video. We'll go over other stuff that's happened since I last talked to you guys. As always, guys, stay safe out there. Have a great weekend. And until next time, I'll catch you later.
Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so alerted every time I upload a new video. And be sure to head over to the Toy News International and Marvelous News message boards communities. It's a great place to talk toys and win cool contests like $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And remember, action figures are great.